Hi, everybody. I got Mary Keehn here as my special guest. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I am doing great. It's such a big honor. I wanted to flatter you with words like Humboldt royalty and big words, but I think Joni and I are both convinced you're just
Grandma.
grandma and good people.
Plain
So
old grandma.
we're gonna go with that. So Mary's done 1,000 things. We're gonna talk about them. I want to hear a little bit about you first. I'm curious about your background and were you born and raised here? How did you get to Humboldt?
So my dad was an attorney in the Navy, and we moved
Hmm.
every 4 years back and forth from coast to coast pretty much.
Wow.
And so, no, I wasn't. But my whole life goal was to have a house with a fence and a yard and never move again. So
Right.
when I got to Humboldt, that was for sure.
You have that now?
I don't have a fence, but I have the house that
No,
I'm
if
not
I
leaving.
remember, are you out in Philbrook somewhere, McKinleyville?
I'm downtown Philbrook. Yep.
Downtown. Oh, I love it. I know where that is. We just became members of the Philbrook Winery. We're in the wine club
Oh,
with Judy
fancy.
and all.
Yeah, it's a fun place.
Such a nice. I'd never been there. Jody and I wandered out there
It's
and had a great time.
Yeah.
Anyway, tell me more.
Okay, so then I graduated from high school on the East Coast and moved to California to go to college. I went to UCSB and Santa Barbara Junior College, and I was a marine biology major.
Wow.
Yeah, obvious turn to making goat cheese. I mean, what
Of course,
else would
it's
you
totally
do?
connected. Recreation Administration over here. Cal Poly.
But that was in the 60s.
Mm.
And so we had the first oil spill there.
Oh,
and I
right.
kind of got disillusioned and dropped out of college and
Mhm.
moved to Southern Humboldt.
Hmm.
Bought 80 acres there, did a homestead,
Wow.
built a cabin out of logs we drug out of the woods with a horse.
So hum.
so hum.
So hum. What part of Southern Humboldt?
Inland from Miranda
Okay.
on the Samuelis Ranch.
Oh, so you're out there a ways.
Way out there.
Wow, the sticks.
Yeah. And yeah. So the kids were born.
Wow.
Mallory, my oldest daughter, was born in Sonoma
Uh-huh.
before we moved. And then I had twins.
Is she the one that's married to Padre?
Yeah.
I wore, just so Padre knows, I wore his Padre shirt last night.
Oh, very
I have one of his T-shirts that
good. It's
Matt made.
Parthenon Construction.
I was looking at Parthenon Construction, Humboldt County, California.
Yep, he's a good guy.
He's a great guy.
He does lots of good stuff for a lot
Yeah,
of people.
he's a good man.
He's really, really great. Yeah, so one thing led to another, and let's see, what did I start with in Humboldt County? So I had goats because I was a back to the lander, the ultimate hippie. You had to do everything.
Got to get goats.
You had to have goats. You had to have a garden.
Yeah.
Make your own clothes.
Did you grind your own wheat?
Yep. I did
How
everything.
about homeschooling?
Woods, or the kids weren't in school yet
Okay.
at that point. But wood stove, heated water on, no hot water, no electricity.
Whoa.
I mean, serious. I love to do things. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to really. My dad always
love it.
said the world doesn't need another mediocre anything, so just go
Right.
for it.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So let's see. So I got these goats, and because of my interest in science, I got into the genetics of goats, which is another obvious thing. But
Yeah.
so I started breeding goats. And have you ever seen what is that movie about the dog shows? Best in Show?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, the goat world is a lot like that,
Interesting.
except it's goats.
Yeah.
And people are crazy for their goats. So
And they walk them around and trot them
walk
and
them
do
around.
stuff?
You don't trot, but you walk and you set them up and
Brush them and
brush them and bathe them and clip them
wow.
and adore them. You know.
Yeah.
So I did that.
Are some goats pretty smart?
Yeah, they're pretty much as smart as a dog. They don't behave the same way, but
Yeah.
you know what? A little sliding barrel bolt. You
Yeah.
know, those little that
sliders
you
on a-
close
on a gate?
a gate.
Yeah.
I had one that could reach up over the gate, open it with her mouth, and let all the other goats into the barn.
Sweet.
Yeah, not so sweet.
Pretty smart. Too smart.
But
Too smart.
anyway, so I showed goats for quite a while and had national champions of my breed, which was Alpines.
Mhm.
And that led to having too much milk.
Wow.
And so obviously started making cheese.
What do you got to do with the milk?
Yep, make
Yep.
cheese.
Good.
So then I started Cypress Grove goat cheese.
And this is when you lived up here now.
Yeah,
You're not
I'm
in
back
Soham
into
now.
I'm
Okay.
moved to Humboldt.
Were you out in Dow's Prairie? Because you used to be out there.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't know this, but we used to be neighbors.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, Joni and I lived out on the end of Dow's Prairie before you go down the hill to Cornell.
Oh.
At the very end.
Do you know Sally Callahan?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, she's a goat lady.
Okay.
I mean, it's a
You
special.
guys all know each other.
You do.
It's a special club.
Well, any club, you
Yeah.
if you have a special needs kid, you end up
Any industry or, yeah. you're right.
anything.
That's
you
totally
know,
true.
you kind of find your homies wherever.
So you started breeding goats.
Breeding goats and selling goats
Mm-hmm.
and making cheese at home for friends and family.
Gotcha.
And then when Larapin opened, Larapin Cafe opened,
Sure. Dixie.
and Dennis
Mhm.
at Los Bagels. Those were my first two customers.
Great people. Remember Dixie and Pear?
Oh, man, do I ever.
They started
yeah.
Larapin. For
Yeah.
those that don't know, Larapin restaurant is probably, I think it's the best restaurant in the North State, if not
It's so good.
California. He still does a great job.
And, they've stayed true to those recipes, but they
Yeah.
added new ones. And it's
boy.
really a bargain because you get, I'm sorry, I'm going to go on a Larapin.
That's okay. We're marketing today. Brought to you by Dick Taylor Chocolates.
You have all the appetizers and the salad, everything's included.
That's a great
And they're so
a value.
wonderful.
Mm.
And the food is great.
So
Anyway,
let's put a pin in the goat cheese for a second. Who was Mary Keehn at 15?
15. What was I doing at 15?
What were you
So-
about at 15?
I was in high school
Mm-hmm.
on the East Coast. Just a regular high school kid. I had big hair.
All right. Who didn't?
Yeah.
Hard to believe it. I actually had hair, folks.
And the East Coast, we had to wear dresses. You
Right.
couldn't wear pants to school.
Right.
If it was snowing, it didn't matter.
This was not parochial school. This was just school.
Public school, yeah.
Yeah, different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really was different. So when I moved to California and saw guys walking around in T-shirts, I was
Shorts.
horrified.
It flips.
What? It
Humboldt.
doesn't take very long to get used to that.
Right. Right. I was from San Diego, where we just
Right.
whatever you wanted to wear.
Yeah.
Within reason, we got away with a lot. So, who were you at 20?
Let's see, at 20, I was being quite a hippie girl.
Ah.
Yeah,
Uh huh.
quite a hippie in my early 20s.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Me too. Actually, I started getting my hair cut at 20 because I had it really long in San Diego.
Yeah,
Different story.
yeah.
How about 30?
30, what was I doing? I think I probably had 3 kids.
Wow.
I had 3 in less than 2 years.
Rad.
And a single mom.
Wow.
Super
Hey,
poor.
chops. Yeah.
Super, super poor. Yeah, that was a rough time.
Yeah. Now we have 9, as you kind of know, for real. And one wife, Jody, and I with 9 kids, and we were, gosh, by the time I was 30, I think we had 3 or 4.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But doing it alone, that's awesome.
Well,
Total respect on that.
I don't know.
Yeah, you do what you can.
Yeah,
You do what you have to do.
yeah.
I
You
don't-
try and get by.
I don't know how watching my young daughter with 3 sons, it's just too much to fathom, but she figures it out. And she goes, I don't know how mom did it. She had 3 kids and getting bagels and coming to the office, and she's got holding coffees. I go, how do you? She goes, I don't know how mom did it.
Well, my twins were born prematurely.
Mm.
And in those days, that was pre-car seats. I brought them home in a lug box,
Oh,
fruit box,
Right.
each wrapped in their own little blanket. They fit in there.
perfect.
It works,
No seatbelts.
Well,
they had
no car
seatbelts.
seat,
Yeah. Just
a box.
yeah, and drive real slow and careful.
No, I put them on the floor,
Wow.
because it was safe.
Wow. Yeah, times are different. Remember riding the back of that pickup when you were a kid?
Well, my kids did that too.
Oh, and the crazy uncle
Yeah.
going really fast down a gravel road. It's like, yeah.
I didn't have that guy.
Yeah. So how about 40?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Were you farming then? Were you?
By then, I think, let's see, I started Cypress Grove in 83. I'd have to do math
Yeah.
to figure that out.
Close
but
enough.
yeah, I would think I was getting close to starting, or I already started 83,
Gotcha.
74, probably. Yeah, I
Okay.
was doing Cypress Grove. That was fun. I got to travel all over the world,
Mhm.
and we were talking about communities a minute ago.
Mhm.
And so the cheese community is huge,
Right.
and it includes everybody who likes cheese, some people who don't, all the people that make it.
Right.
And you're like there at somebody's wedding with your, it's a really fun
Oh, I bet.
job.
Yeah. I've heard Dick Taylor guys talking about the chocolate community,
Yeah.
and then we just were on one of their first tours
Oh,
last
nice.
week. Joni made me go, and it was really fun. And we learned that the kind of the craft chocolate makers, the guys that were doing micro batches and doing it right and doing it with killer ingredients, they were a very small community, like you said. Everybody
Mhm.
knew each other, and it was just a fascinating story, and not only in as much as that there are communities within communities. And so tell me.
Well, we took their cheese. Our marketing includes going to the International Fancy Food and Confection Show.
Oh,
Twice a year, there's one in New York and San Francisco.
okay.
So there's 10 miles of booths. If you walk up and down every 10-foot booth,
Wow.
10 miles,
Wow. Those are the big shows.
it's huge. But people come from all over the world, and we paired their chocolate with our cheese
Perfect.
because it's
Yeah.
it's really nice.
I bet it really, really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So I was reading about you've been recognized a lot then as your product and
Mhm.
yourself. So tell me, can you
Brag.
can you brag? It's okay to brag. You were prompted. It's not
All
bragging if it's
right.
true.
So we've been Oprah's favorite thing a couple times. We
No
got,
way.
yeah, we've won lots of international awards.
Did you go on the show with her?
No, you talk to her people with
Right.
Oprah.
Her team, yeah.
Yeah, but Martha Stewart and
Wow.
Sunset Magazine, lots of
Wow.
national and international press.
Right.
So,
How about famous chefs? Chefs are
Yeah.
all over TV. Oops, now.
yeah. Well, the first Humboldt Fog was the really break-in cheese for us, and Florence Fabricant from the New York Times wrote about it.
Wow.
So,
Even I know her name.
yeah, everybody knows Florence
Yeah.
Fabricant. But Russ Parsons from the LA Times, somehow, he had a relative going to Humboldt State.
Oh.
So he connected with me, but he every year would buy cheese from me to send to Julia Child for her birthday.
Oh, that's neat.
And so that was really a
good.
special. It was so cool.
Julia who?
Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah, and true to life, if you don't need something, people give you lots of free stuff.
Right.
So when I would go to a restaurant, we would always get comped, and the chef would come out.
Oh, nice.
And
Yeah.
you get that special treatment.
Free bagels with Dennis. Those bagels. Oh, yeah. No, I can imagine. That'd be really great. I mean, Larapin,
It's
just,
fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
And all from little Humboldt County.
Yeah, little baby Humboldt County.
100% Humboldt. What a great story.
Well, and the nice thing is that when we do all our names, we have really goofy names like Purple Haze and
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Natural and
Mm-hmm.
Humboldt Fog.
Humboldt Fog's perfect.
But in the cheese world, people would typically pick French names because that was the beginning of goat cheese.
Oh,
So we just went regular
yeah.
and picked good old regular names.
Purple Haze. Who would want to try some of that?
No.
Come on. Purple Haze from Humboldt, folks. I love it. So what motivates you today?
Yeah.
You sold that was sold, right?
Yeah, I sold the business about 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I mentioned that I had been super poor as a mom.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've ever lived through that, you don't forget it.
Right.
And so all of a sudden I wasn't,
Wow.
because I sold the company and I picked a really good partner. They're hands off and my whole team is still there.
Perfect.
I'm just really, really happy.
The
And I
dr-
still get to be involved if I choose.
The dream succession.
Yeah, it was perfect.
So how is it different having more options with wealth versus
Well,
being dirt poor as a mom? Because with 9 kids, I get it.
Yeah.
One income. Joni didn't work. Actually, she worked really, really hard.
yeah, right. Don't you ever
Worked
say
harder
she
than-
didn't work?
No, honey, I didn't mean it like that.
No, you did not.
I did not.
You won't
Thanks.
be able to go home.
Just kidding, Joni.
But so when I was starting, not just starting, but a few years into Cypress Grove, I took a business class, and it was really business philosophy. And they were all about wealth and how much, if you have $10 million, you're okay. That was his premise.
Okay,
But, you know, I adjusted it for Humboldt County.
sure.
But what I took away is if you have enough, you don't need more,
Wow.
right?
How much is enough?
Well, it depends on each person, you know, and what your needs are and what your family needs are and how many, you've got 9 kids to take care of.
Yeah.
Some have special needs. They need more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you set it up.
Mhm.
But once you have enough, then you get to get
Play.
rid of it.
Then you give it away.
Give it away.
Yeah.
And so I'm involved in a donor circle group that works on social justice.
Wow.
I've been a board member for Humboldt Area Foundation and was their past chair for a couple of years. I've been on the board for 7 years.
Wow.
So I get to do what I want
Yeah.
and make a difference. And
It's awesome.
there's really nothing better.
Yeah. I'm starting to understand that.
Yeah. Well, you can't when you're young
You can't.
because you're
No.
struggling.
Oh, you're just grinding.
Yeah. It just,
Mm-hmm.
do
Oh,
I have
yeah.
food? Can I take, I mean, taking 4 girls to the dentist,
Yeah.
you know, it's hard.
Oh, man. And bills, just wait for that medical bill thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. No, I remember just constantly digging out of a hole,
Yeah.
you know, and now I'm not loaded, but we're going to Medford this weekend and not thinking about the gas money.
Yeah. There you go.
You know, we're going to spend money on people and it'll be fun. And yeah,
But when the hole is really deep and you don't have a shovel,
right.
it's hard.
It's really hard.
And the idea that people should pull themselves up from their bootstraps if they don't have boots.
Right.
I mean, there's people like that.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't need so much, you know. I have holes in my shirt and I'm fine with that.
Hey, it's Humboldt.
It's humble.
Yeah.
You don't have to get dressed up.
I saw your car. It's not a brand new Jag or anything.
Well, it is a Tesla.
It's an older Tesla.
It is an older Tesla, but that's about, you know, I really believe in solar and we have to change.
Yeah.
It was, you know, I'm not at all into the car,
Right.
but I'm into what it can do.
Right. What it represents.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love it. So I want to talk about your latest project.
Yeah.
But before I do, I want to kind of set it up for the why. So we're developing this really neat project. I'll just leave it at that. So why
Why am I doing what I'm doing?
are you doing what you're doing? Why do you love Humboldt
Well,
as it leads into the We're Up project?
I'll start about Humboldt because I was talking to someone just yesterday about all the cool things that are happening here. We're going to be first in the nation to be net energy negative
Wow.
with the offshore wind,
All right.
Cal Poly. We have the Aqua Farm. We have Del Arte. You know, if you go into smaller things, we have more nonprofits per capita, more artists per
I was
capita.
going to say art community.
It's art, but there's a lot of really high-end food makers.
Right.
There's a lot of cool people doing cool things here.
Yeah.
And that's what,
Right.
But my theory is that when people left Europe and they moved to the East Coast, because they didn't like, they were leaving Europe to get away, and then people kept going west. Well, Humboldt is one of the most westerly places in the country, so we've got all the weirdos here.
Oh, yeah.
All the people who couldn't.
Yes, we're all here.
We're here.
Yeah.
But there's something wonderful about being weird, and that leads into my other why I am where I am, is you don't know what life is going to throw at you.
Right.
My husband passed about 10 years ago, and I thought we were going to be traveling in Europe by now.
Right.
But no, we're not. And instead, I've been the guardian for my granddaughter for the past 5 years.
Right.
She just turned 15, so she moved in with me at 10.
Wow.
She has autism.
Mm-hmm.
And when she moved in, she couldn't shower. She was afraid of the oven. She couldn't open, they'd had fires.
Mm-hmm.
She couldn't open the microwave. She couldn't walk in a dark room.
Wow.
She knew the answer to 2 + 1, but she didn't understand the concept because she has a great memory.
Right. Yeah.
But just a story about her. She wanted, this was last year, she wanted an Apple Watch. And I said, I'm not buying you one. I see you have one.
Oh, this thing?
Oh, this thing? But, I didn't think she needed one. She had an old phone of mine.
Mm-hmm.
So she made chocolate chip cookies, sat at the end of our driveway with lemonade and chocolate chip cookies every weekend.
In downtown Philbrook.
Downtown Philbrook with a population of 25 people.
Right? Maybe.
And sold enough cookies to buy a watch.
Yeah.
She researched the watch online to find out which one she wanted. She programmed it.
Right. Wow.
And she's a self-proclaimed IT person now.
Perfect.
But more importantly, she's a business owner.
Right.
So my friend made her a logo. It's called Jaden's Journeys. And, she wears her shirt. She's after it.
Good.
But this change in 5 years from the kid who couldn't do math, now she's
super proud of her.
She's got a bank account. She's so proud of herself.
Just getting started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she can do those things, but she's always probably, who knows what is real, but right now she could not be on her own. She needs supports.
She'll have support services for a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or forever. I don't know.
Right.
But what does that look like? Because I could have bought her a house.
Right.
But that's not going to take care of her needs.
Right.
Because she needs people. She's really social.
Wow. Okay.
And she needs somebody to watch out for her. Some guy shows up with a puppy. She might think she could go with them somewhere. I don't know. So how I made most of my cheeses was getting things out of the cupboard and looking at what did I have and what works. What works.
What's for dinner?
Yeah. And I did the same with this project I've started called We Are Up. And I looked at care situations around the U.S., but also when I had traveled in Europe, I got to go to some.
Oh, wow.
And looked at different things. But I ended up making a model that, just like you cook, you pull out your best ingredients and make a great meal. So We Are Up is in McKinleyville. I bought a little over 15 acres that I'll donate to we formed a 501c3, donate that land, and it's been 100% volunteer.
Wow.
100% Humboldt funded. And all, we do have a couple. My friend in Holland, cheesemaker, gave a little bit.
That's okay.
Friend in Seattle, but
I'll take it. Thank you.
Yeah, but I mean, it's really been a community effort. So The plan is that we'll build a large community center with
Mhm.
housing above,
Mhm.
50 units of housing.
Wow.
But it isn't about housing. It
Mhm.
is partly, but it's like we're thinking of it as an ecosystem of care.
Hmm.
So there's an ag component,
Mhm.
there's the housing component, and then there's programs.
Wow.
And they all need to be there.
Mhm.
But we're mixing, it's intergenerational. So seniors and folks with disabilities.
Mhm.
And then because both of those groups can get kind of stuck in their ways.
Yes. Yes, that's true.
I'm a senior, I know that.
I'm a senior and I've seen special needs kids,
Yes.
so we
It-
have them.
And they're, that's how we are.
You get stuck.
Yeah. But who would unstick is students.
Yeah.
So the third component is students who are in similar fields like social services, nursing, environmental stewardship.
Hello, Cal Poly.
Yeah. Hello,
Yeah.
Cal Poly.
Cal Poly Humboldt, folks. Used to be HSU, and now
Yeah.
that'd be amazing. So kind of this synergistic, what an overused, and I haven't used it all day, word. So this whole thing where everybody gets to come and play.
And contribute
Mhm.
and receive.
Yeah.
Because so often in our society, people are either receiving or
Mhm.
contributing.
Right.
But the idea is that I don't want it to be all low income either,
Mhm.
because then the wealthy people are over here in their bubble and the
Right.
poor people are over here in their bubble.
Mhm.
But it's about bringing people together and
Good.
creating a community.
Yeah.
And we've had the most wonderful, like a woman in her 80s who teaches Tai Chi
Hmm.
and a timber company, both contributing.
Perfect.
I mean, it doesn't get more diverse than that.
Yeah. And everybody cares about that population, that demographic,
Yeah.
those demographics.
And
Yeah.
the two demographics, there's not a person in the world who doesn't have a parent
Right.
somewhere or had one and watched them suffer.
Right. Right. So as I understand, it's 3 phases. You want to talk about those real quick? And there's 3
Yeah.
build out sort of.
It's one long phase for me, but on
Right.
paper, it's 3 phases. So right now we're in the process of fundraising for a greenhouse,
Mhm.
and we're 2/3 of the way there.
Wow.
This weekend we're having a work party, fencing the orchard
Mhm.
and planting some garden stuff.
That's neat.
And then we're going to have a meet and greet out there on the 11th, so
Cool.
people can come and see.
Yeah, we're coming.
Good.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun.
Yeah, Jody's got it on her calendar. She's got it all dialed in.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So bring the kids.
Okay.
All 9 of them, because
Yeah.
there's plenty of space.
Now they're in Boise and Medford, and soon to be the Netherlands. She got a job with executive Nike.
Get out.
I know they're pretty stoked. Not an easy job to get.
The Netherlands, I'll talk to you on the
Yeah.
side about that.
We're
is
going to
my-
Amsterdam.
I've been there like a dozen times. It's
We'll talk.
a
absolutely.
good place.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. Everybody says it's a great place to visit.
It's like Humboldt but fancier.
Uh huh. Okay.
It's the same vibe.
We got out of McKinleyville last year for the first time. We got to go to England and Scotland and Ireland.
Nice.
It was really fun. So
nice.
now that we're world travelers and we have passports,
Why not? Once you have a passport.
We're pros at this.
Yeah. a
We
piece
watched all
of
the
cake.
TV shows, so we're kind of dialing it all in.
Yeah, one suitcase. That's the key.
Yeah. So 3 phases. So the first phase is
Okay.
the greenhouse.
The greenhouse, and the property has a duplex on it.
Mm.
So we have one half of the duplex empty now that we're kind of renovating.
Mhm.
And the idea is that we can begin serving people once we get the greenhouse built.
Hmm.
Folks can grow food, come up to the duplex, learn to cook, learn some life skills,
Wow. Hang out.
hang out, learn about donating, giving back, so that we could grow food for people. We
Wow.
could have a CSA.
Mhm. Is that a farm share?
Yeah, yeah.
Like goat. What's it called? There's one.
Sea Goat Farm.
Sea Goat Farms. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
just reached out to her. That's the other fun thing about this is so many people.
You're all connected anyway, so all these guys
Yeah.
would yeah. No, Joni and I get our food from there.
Oh, nice.
They're great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have another one of those
Yeah.
because people have to eat food.
They do. And we could help each other and choose, you grow this, I'll grow that.
I love it.
I could grow your starts, whatever.
Right.
So anyway, that gets us started. We've
Mhm.
got really, the regional center's been so lovely,
Oh, they're
supportive.
great here.
Gosh, we're lucky.
Can I talk about them real quick?
Yes, please.
The Redwood Coast Regional Center, located in Eureka,
Yay!
California. It's actually Redwood Coast Regional Center #1 because their designation. And what they do is they, so our son Gabe has Downs and autism, and he's been a client since he was a baby. And what they do is they administer all the funding and the agencies that work through them to get care to Gabe for PTOT, whatever therapy, speech therapy, and schooling assistance, having special support. So Gabe's been a big client, and they're amazing. So if you live in Texas, guess what? There isn't anything that looks like a regional center. You're kind of on your own, baby. Oregon's broke. Same kind of idea. They don't have the services that we do. And the cool thing about Humboldt, 100% Humboldt Regional Center, is they really care. You met Dr. Kim Smalley?
Yeah, she's been on the site. She
Yes.
came to our
Oh, she's
spectacular.
amazing. Now, there's a woman that's really cool. She's,
Yeah.
hi, Kim.
Hi,
She's Harvard educated and did it by herself with her own bootstraps. All the kids that went there, that her cohorts were all loaded, trust
Yeah.
fund kids. She was, as I understand it, not that.
Not
And so
that.
she had to do that, and she's raised a couple girls, I think, and big chops for her. Now she's the head of our regional center, and I think I'm a big fan, and
I'm a big fan.
what a cool ally. So you've really kind of developed in your cool way all these alliances and these
Well-
connections and these relationships. Talk about that.
Well, with Cypress Grove, once we got past survival mode, we had a premise that the person who washes the dishes has the most important job
Oh,
because
yeah.
they could actually kill somebody if they didn't do it well.
Oh, yeah.
So, I really believe that you have to honor everybody where they are and what they're doing. But we've always given cheese to every event in the community.
Wow.
And so probably a lot of people feel they owe me.
Yeah, that's okay.
But truly, we've been around 30, maybe getting close to 40 years. I don't
Wow.
know. Since 83. What does that mean?
So 83?
40 years, yeah.
Is it 40? Yeah.
This is our 40th anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
So for our 25th anniversary, we did 25 random acts of kindness.
Wow.
And that meant like one was getting 25 backpacks and filling them with school supplies and taking them to different schools.
I love it.
One was taking cheese to the ladies at St. Joe's who are the volunteers.
They love that.
It took me 15 minutes to get them to realize I didn't want anything back because they're so used to,
They're so used to giving.
they're so sweet.
Oh, they're great.
But anyway, so a lot of people are behind this because they know it's a needed project. There's
Oh,
no
watched it.
housing.
Mhm.
Um,
No.
and I get these heartfelt letters from folks,
Mm.
I'm getting older. I don't know what's going to happen to my child who's in his 40s, or
Yeah.
I had to move my daughter to Crescent City. I'm too old to drive to visit her. It's
Right.
horrible.
Yeah. We were looking at some real dour options for Gabe that just didn't make any sense.
How old
and
is he now?
He's 23.
23?
Yeah.
But Jaden would think he's so cool because he's in his 20s.
He is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's really cool is watching him kind of prosper without mom and dad around and doing, with other support.
Yeah.
And we have a big advocate, Rebecca, who's a behaviorist, and she's just taken him to all these next levels for Gabe, all these next Gabe levels that are just, of like with your granddaughter, exciting to see and go, oh, wonder why we couldn't get him to do that.
Well, because you're the parents and
Right.
they know how to
Right.
work you.
Oh, he totally does. Oh, we show up and he's playing us right away.
Right?
Yeah, it's like, no, you could perform amazingly with the others that are demanding it of you. And so anyway, so phase one is the
greenhouse,
greenhouse.
and beginning to serve people. We can work with the regional center on providing supports for people.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first talked to them, they said, well, nobody ever asked to work in a greenhouse. And I had to explain the whole concept. It's not about working in the greenhouse.
Right.
That's a piece of it. But it's being in there, seeing how plants grow, how to take care of something.
And there's chores.
There's chores. There's food.
Yeah.
Everybody likes to have a good meal.
There's food. Everybody loves the food part. And is there going to be goat cheese?
Yeah, Cypress Grove has donated so much cheese.
That's
to
part of
this
that
project.
relationship
Yeah.
that you still have. That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
That's really neat.
And so we can do that. And now we're beginning fundraising for the next, like it's I can't even say it out loud, $25 to $30 million that
You could say it.
somehow going to come up with. I have no clue how that's going to happen.
Oh, it'll happen.
But it will.
Oh, yeah.
And so now I'm starting to figure that out.
Mhm.
We have our meeting with the Planning Commission set for, this is a big ask, July 6th
Mm-hmm.
at 6 o'clock at the Planning Commission.
Mm-hmm.
We filed our CEQA docs and hoping to have some solid support there.
Wow.
It would really be
Explain
helpful.
CEQA real quick.
CEQA is...
What it does. I don't know what it stands for.
I can't even think of what. Well, we've spent the last year and a half doing environmental studies of the land.
Mhm.
Where's the wetlands? What are the limitations? Where can we put buildings
Mhm.
without interfering
Mm-hmm.
with nature? How tall can the buildings be? All of those things.
Mm.
And so we're going to be able to put 50 units of housing and a large community center, a greenhouse, and an orchard, and still keep 80% of that land open space.
Nice.
Really nice.
So that's the work of engineers and folks that know
botanists and
county and state regs and federal. So you're not in the coastal zone. That's good.
that's really good.
Big thumbs up.
Yeah. And architects and all kinds of people.
Yeah. So you're going to have your stuff together and you're going to give it to these guys that are going to
We've given it to them.
So this is their rendering.
We've given them all the details
Mhm.
of all of our year and a half's worth of studies.
Wow.
Working with the tribes, have been on site,
That's really good.
all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And we had 85 letters of support written,
Mm.
10 not so supportive.
You're going to it's Humboldt, 100% Humboldt. Yeah, you're going to get somebody that hates something.
Yeah, we do have
Yeah,
some haters, but
that's okay.
it's okay. And I think human nature is that we don't like change.
Right. It'd be weird to not have some haters around because then they'd go, this is too perfect. What's
Oh, I
wrong with
don't
it?
know. I'm such an optimist. I always
I am
think.
too. I understand. What's wrong with you people?
But, anyway, we're moving forward. And once we get this, then we can actually build the greenhouse.
Wow.
And
So you could start building on the 13th, the day after, if they
Yeah.
voted it up?
the 12th.
Wow. We are up. Yeah.
Yeah. And we have the money to actually purchase the shell of the greenhouse, not all the
Yeah.
parts on the
Do
inside.
you know any
yet.
good builders?
No.
They're all busy building stuff, right?
They are booked out for years.
Oh,
That's
it's
going to
crazy.
be our big.
Yeah. Wonder if in faith you could pre-book them.
Yeah.
Pencil us in for
Pencil us in.
July 15th, say.
Well, there's the Humboldt County Office of Education has the greenhouse at Redwood Acres.
All right.
And Gene Callahan, who built my house,
Mm-hmm. Good builder.
helped them.
Mhm.
And so I think he'll come and crack a whip or supervise.
Lend
or
a hand.
Lend a hand. So he's promised
Famous.
that. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, I've heard really good things.
Super good guy.
Wow, wonderful. So, greenhouse, community center, and then what?
Well, greenhouse and and programs.
Okay.
And then the community center with its housing above.
How much is that going to be again?
Well, the whole project is 30-ish million, I
Okay.
think.
Today, in today's dollars.
Well, it was 25 when I started, so it's probably 30 now. But
So it'll cap out at 50 units?
50 units of housing. So we're having a mix of studios, 1 bedroom and 2 bedrooms.
Gotcha.
Some folks will want to share. Some
Sure.
folks won't. Some folks will have limited income and maybe want a studio.
Yeah.
So we're trying to design all of that.
So what's the timeline if you have your...
In a perfect
dream?
world, 2 years we'll be starting construction.
Wow. Which is quick considering
It's really quick.
building
but
time.
It's long for me.
Yeah. Drags on and on.
Well, when you're 75, there's limited time, and I want to be around to enjoy it.
I was going to say, you look really great for 50. So, no, you want to be around to
You
love it.
do.
Yeah.
You do.
Wow, that's a big vision. I love the
It's
fact that
kinda
you're including
crazy.
all this, the stakeholders as part of the process. So cool and right and smart and
Well, you have to, because that's who it's for.
right.
It's not. I actually had a meeting today with, do you know Cash Bouja, the wonderful architect?
Mhm.
And he hooked us up with a group that is trying to close prisons. And
Wow.
they're architects, and they're trying to design things to once people get out of prisons or I don't know, but they're going to come up and check out the project. They're
Wow.
into crazy projects.
Wow. Who
And
knows what they might add?
they'll add a lot, but one of their big tenets is bringing people together to plan, what does Gabe need? What does Jaden need? It's two
Right.
different things.
Right.
And what does Jaden's neighbor need?
Yeah.
Because she gets up at 5:30 and sings at the top of her lungs.
Perfect.
They need
Something
good
different.
soundproofing.
Yeah. And then the Venn diagram where those kind of come together
Yeah.
and you can figure
Yeah.
out what the needs are.
Yeah.
Wow. Big vision stuff.
Yeah. I love our family joke is I'm ready, fire, aim.
Yeah.
Because if you worry about it, you're not going to do it.
Right. Yeah. You
If you-
perfectionists out there, we know that you can't get it done because you're too busy being perfect about it.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
you need the perfectionists too.
Mhm.
So it needs to be the whole community.
Yeah.
And I can be the crazy one, but other people can be the smart ones who say, oh, no, you don't want to do
Don't
that.
don't.
No.
We're not building on the marshland.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. Or, we're going to add a frog pond at the end of this detention center so the frogs have a sweet place to be and
Perfect.
the herons have a place to land.
Right. So is it 80 acres? Is that what I remember?
No, it feels like it. It's huge.
It's
but
15? Okay.
And so we'll just be up against grocery outlets. So
Right.
we're within walking distance of a grocery store, a
Oh, yeah.
movie theater,
Mhm.
restaurants, a hardware store, health clinic, bank,
Perfect.
and the bus.
And McDonald's. And I think
No.
Denny's is going to become Mountain Mike's
Oh,
Pizza. That's what they said. Anyway,
well, that would be nice.
why not? It's all there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, McKinleyville's got it all.
You wouldn't need to drive. And
Yeah.
a lot of our residents probably won't drive.
Right. They can walk down to Pearson Park, Azalea Park, and
Or they can, the health club is
Yep.
right 2 blocks away.
there's two. Yeah. Health
Yeah.
Sport in the club. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a really big vision.
It's a sweet spot.
Yeah. And we drove back there, looked at it some months ago, and
Oh, you didn't come last year, did you? To our
no, we
party?
didn't make it.
Okay.
But we just took an independent Sunday afternoon and hung out, and we didn't walk on the property or anything, but just got to looked at it on a sunny day and go, this is going to be magical.
Well, when you actually get on it, it's kind of long and narrow.
Mhm.
And about 2/3 of the way, there's this stand of trees that are all a little bit different.
Mhm.
They're not just all redwoods or they're not all anything.
Oh,
And I've always called it the fairy circle.
okay.
And I don't know why those
They're just different.
they're just weird. And so I had a dream of a kid's story about how did this fairy circle come to be.
Oh, cool.
And it was because the trees on the other edge decided that they needed to have a place for the animals to hang out.
Okay.
And they learned to walk.
Oh,
But anyway, all my weird stuff comes in dreams. Humboldt Fog and this project.
hey, dreams are good.
If I get a dream, I try to pay attention.
Do you write
to
them
it.
down?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think with folks like us that get busy, the only time you have
Quiet mind.
dream and a quiet enough mind is to be still and write that stuff down.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's fun.
I love your vision. It's cool to get to know you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
It's a fun project.
Oh, it's going
I've
to be
met
great.
so many cool people.
Oh, I think how could you not be behind it? So you 10 haters.
No,
So-
I don't want to be mean to
No.
them because truly I get it.
You want to win them. They could be won. They just
they're-
need to understand.
But they're worried that their views are going to change or it'll
Right.
be too noisy.
Not in my
or-
backyard.
Well, literally, though, it is in their backyard, and
Yeah.
nobody wants their backyard to be different.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
But
There's mitigation and there's discussion and
yeah,
no, you're right. Let's consider those guys.
I mean, I hope they'll come around,
Yeah.
but I have to consider the Gabes and the Jadens of the world
Right. The whole point. Yeah.
and the seniors.
So, parting shot, what would you like to say to Humboldt if you or to the world? Because this is going to go out on the World Wide Web, including
Oh,
Humboldt.
I'm hoping that this will really be a model of change
Mhm.
because the current model is often for folks with disabilities to be isolated,
Mm,
5 to a group home with a caregiver
maybe. Yeah.
if they're lucky,
Yeah.
and often on the streets. I mean, I have people that I give food to on the street regularly who I know have autism. I know it.
Sure. Oh,
You
yeah.
s- And they shouldn't be on the streets.
Mhm.
It's wrong.
Yeah.
So if we can get this built and have a model that can be copied, the ag land is a nice to have. It's not.
Mhm.
You could still do other things if you didn't have the ag land. You could teach whatever your people are into,
Mhm.
computer skills, video, making food.
I love it.
So that's what
we could
we're
do one of
hoping.
these in Fortuna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But right now, if you're a parent in Trinidad, you're driving your loved one to Eureka probably for day programs.
Mhm. We do.
And how long does that take you?
22 minutes and a lot of fuel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
twice a day.
Yeah.
So 44 minutes
Yeah.
twice a day.
Right.
If it's round trip.
And the program Gabe's part of is, love you guys, but we didn't have like a lot of choices.
No,
There wasn't like, hey, well, there's 5 different choices and they're all amazing. No, there's this.
there's a choice.
Yeah. And they love Gabe and he blends in and does great, but I don't know that he's challenged and he's, in any sort of, it's not like school.
Right. And when school's over, things change
Yes, they do.
and the kids drop off.
22 years old, you got to leave high school.
And then what happens? You've had all these supports and then nothing. Like 90% of adults, kids with autism, that in that 20, I'm still
Mhm.
calling them kids when they're 20 because
Right.
I'm 75, but haven't interacted with a friend in a year.
Wow.
That's horrible.
That's tragic.
It's
Yeah.
but programs stop. They go to their room and
Yeah.
iPad it.
Wow. You're right. We looked at all kinds of options that weren't there.
that weren't there.
We were looking at all these things that we couldn't find. And it was tragic of going, well, there's the Sunberg Center, but that's way down on Broadway and it's far, and there was just nothing,
That's a nice.
and
They do a lot with a little.
yeah. And the regional center was kind, but it was COVID time and they were retracted and let's go get Gabe a job. Well, he's pretty limited in his skill sets. So you have to have a magical employer with a supervisor. It just gets so complex right away.
Well, one of the things we're thinking is, say somebody wants to have a wedding at our community center.
Wow.
Could Gabe open a door for somebody or
Sure.
stand there and wave to them. Whatever he can do, everybody can do something.
Right. Has a role.
Almost.
Yeah.
I mean, you can
Little
just be
live-
there and be kind.
Little live music could really make the neighbors crazy. Not in my backyard.
Well, that'll be indoors.
Yeah. No, that would be fun though. So it'll be a whole venue then. It'll be
Yeah.
for a wedding. That's really neat.
Yeah.
Outdoor.
Or another event.
Sure.
You know, if our residents have an opportunity to do whatever makes them happy
Mm-hmm.
and interact with the community at large.
Yeah.
And the other piece is the community at large needs to know about our kids.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because if they don't, they think they don't exist.
Right.
And then they don't.
Then they're invisible.
They're invisible
Yeah.
and they have no voice.
Yeah. Ooh, I don't like that.
I don't either.
I don't like that word picture.
No,
but
we want to change it.
Speaking of change, I'm going to leave you with a question, and it is this: since you're a dreamer and big thinker, and I'm really creative, like very little. I'm a good copier. You know, I'm good at watching Seinfeld. So, what do you see for Humboldt in the next 5 or 10 years? As you dream, as you think, as you know, as you're connected and you're out there, what do you see? What do you think? What would you like to see manifest in this beautiful county of ours? I call it the original God's country.
Still is.
It still is.
I think we're all poised on something with steps that we could take that would take Humboldt to a really next level kind of place. I mean, as the offshore wind happens, one of the things Humboldt Area Foundation's been doing is to be sure that it's not another extractive boom and bust like the gold rush. So,
meaning cannabis
or cannabis, you know,
or redwoods,
all of these things. So, writing community benefits plans in advance. So let's plan. Let's be sure that the folks out in Hoopa have some benefit of power.
Yeah.
Let's be sure that people have broadband when that comes through.
Right.
Let's take care of our fishermen when the aquaculture comes in, and maybe they can raise the price of the wild salmon so they can actually make a living. But people can afford to eat salmon who can't afford that. You know,
right.
Let's make it happen, because I think there's so much just on the edge of happening here. It's really exciting. Cal Poly is, but all of these have struggles.
Oh, yeah.
To make them happen. And, you know, we have to be compassionate for the naysayers, or like, we're talking about building a 4 or 5 story buildings in Arcata.
For Humboldt.
Now.
Sorry, Cal Poly.
So if we don't build that, what are our choices? People are homeless. Students are homeless. Or we use up ag land.
Right. Or buy more hotels.
And put people in tiny little hotel rooms.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't we go up?
Yeah.
What's wrong with, if it's engineered so it's safe, what's wrong with not using the ag land and keeping that? I saw it in Europe a lot, where apartment buildings behind them had beautiful gardens for people.
Yeah.
So let's just
get creative.
Take a breath, be creative.
You remind me I think I'll take a breath. No, I like your vision. It's good. It's good vision.
Yeah.
And it is there. I think it's doable. It's right there beyond our grasp. And we just got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just say, yeah, maybe we won't get everything we want, but we'll get a lot of it. And somebody else might get a lot of what they want and need. You
got Humboldt Bay to develop and the waterfront. And then you got, is it the Great Redwood Trail?
Yeah. That's happening.
Oh my gosh. That's going to be bomb.
There's so many things right now.
Yeah.
And then I love all the music and stuff up at Cal Poly at Center Arts.
Yeah. Hope they get some good bands this year.
Yeah.
What did I just infer? That they had some other bands last year. And we saw a really good show. It's fun. Well, speaking of fun, it's been fun having you.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, what a delight. Cool to get to know you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I look forward to hanging out some more for sure.
Yeah,
You haven't seen The Last of Us.
We have some things we can share.
Yeah, and Joni wants to get to know you too. And by the way, she's raised 9 kids plus me makes 10. You'll have a lot in common.
She's experienced.
She's amazing. She's just. My dad goes, you know, I really like Joni. I said, what about me? He just shook his head. He goes, I don't know, Scott. You were smart enough to marry Joni. So shout out to Joni Hammond. Well, thanks for coming, Mary. Appreciate you. And
Appreciate it.
Wish you all the best, and we're there to support for sure.
Cool. And July 6th at the planning department.
July 6th, hear that.
Be there.
That's right downtown, right?
Yeah.
Cool. We'll be there.
Cool.
All right. Thanks again.
Thanks.